Christian's missed the last 2 home games because of COVID protocols, so it's been over a month, Joe, since Christian's has been on his home bench.
Right. I think he's excited. Look at him. He's got the crimson blazer on. He looks good.
He looks sharp. We're underway. Aggies in the whites. NAIA Northern New Mexico in the road blacks. Aggies looking for their 5th straight win. It's been a busy 24 hours for the Eagles. They played in Hobbs, New Mexico last night and then traveled in the night to Las Cruces. Floater is no good for Mario McKinney Jr., and the rebound is collected by Mark Howard Jr. for Northern New Mexico.
This is a business game, Adam. It's one of those games where you come out here and you take care of business and work on what you need to work on.
That'll help for Northern New Mexico. A 3 is good for Damian Thomas, one of the players for the Eagles that does provide some size. The Aggies should have a huge size advantage today. Eagles open up in a zone. A 3 from the corner for Chi-Chi Avery is good. He gets a spot start. And it's a big game, Joe, for Avery and a lot of guys who normally don't play a lot of minutes.
Right. This is going to be a chance for them to really prove themselves, what they can do out on the court. And those minutes that they're going to get in the bigger games are going to be dependent on games like this.
We'll probably see a lot of Clayton Henry today. You have to think for Henry, the minutes that he should get today and also Monday against UT Permian Basin should be huge for him because he's a guy who's coming back from injury and just needs minutes in game action right now.
Yeah, he needs to get into a rhythm and he needs to get his shot going because he's going to be big for the Aggies down the stretch.
Teddy Allen is playing today. How good was he down the stretch on Wednesday? Made some big buckets in the paint, helping the Aggies to the 3-point comeback win against Washington State in Pullman. Will McNair gets a post touch, posting up on Thomas. Inside, outside, straightaway 3 is off for Peak. Good box out there for Thomas, and it's collected by Howard. Off the body of Chi-Chi Avery, it will stay with Northern New Mexico.
If they continue to run that zone, the threes are going to be there. They got to get the ball inside and kick out threes. That's exactly what the Aggies are going to get all night.
Last time the Aggies played Northern New Mexico, they made 23s. They won by 74. That was 2 seasons ago. Mid-range jumper no good for Mohamed Jafari. And here's McKinney in transition. Slings it out for Peak. Extra pass to Teddy Allen, who's still trying to find his 3-point shot recently. This could be a good game for him to find it. McNair will skip it. Here's Allen. He works his way to the rim. Dumps it off for Avery. Extra pass to McKinney. Good ball movement here, and they find Will McNair. Put back jam for Mike Peak on the McNair miss.
That's good patience. That's good patience. Don't take the 3 right away, and you get stuff at the rim.
This team is so unselfish, and we've heard Chris Gian say it and associate head coach James Miller say it. Sometimes they're too unselfish.
Right, right. They got open shots, and they pass it every single time.
Offensive foul on Jafari. But that's something as a coach, you'll take that. You can handle that. You can work through that. But these guys love each other. They're extremely unselfish. And I think Chris Giants has had that before. Think it back to your teams. We saw Sean Buchanan earlier. He's in attendance tonight. He's one of those guys who is always willing to make the extra pass. Offensive rebound again. A good start for Mike Peak.
He looks good. He looks good out there. This is a confidence game for him as well, for guys that get regular minutes and guys that don't regularly get minutes.
Peak is still looking for his first double-figure scoring game this season. He averaged 11 a game last year at Austin Peay. Ricardo Zambrano, he can really shoot it. Misses that 3 short from the arc. Aggies ahead 7-3, just outside of 4 minutes in. Half one here at the Pan Am Center. The Aggies playing their first home game in December. Finally back home after 17 days on the road.
That's a long road stretch for them. I'm sure they're happy to be back in Las Cruces.
Perfect 4-0 road swing. 3 is off for Tyreek Weaver. Impressive road wins against LMU, UNM, UTEP, and then most recently against Washington State. Teddy Allen thought about it, passes it up against this zone defense. Allen in the key, back outside, Pika straightaway three, swirls off. McNair tips it to Mario McKinney, +1. Well, I don't know if he meant to do it. I think he did. I think he saw McKinney and just tapped it to him. Let's see here on the replay.
Yeah, that counts as an assist, right?
That's a heads-up play for Will McNair. Mario McKinney Jr., the St. Louisan, will shoot one free throw when we return. Adam Young back with you. Joe Garza alongside here today. 9-3 Aggies. There's a peek inside the Aggie huddle. Coming off a perfect 4-0 road stretch. Chris Jans has to be extremely pleased. And Joe, Chris Jans is now 3-1 against Washington State during his tenure. And if you count South Florida as a Power 5 school, which I do, some wouldn't, he's 7-4 against Power 5 competition in regular season games. That's pretty impressive.
It is impressive, but Coach Jans is a Power 5 coach. I think so. He's a Power 5 coach, so those are normal games for him, and he's a winner. He wants to win every single game.
Chris Jans is resting a number of guys today. Donnie Tillman not playing. Nate Pryor resting. So is Jabari Rice and Johnny McCann. So only 2 regular starters in uniform today. Off the bench, Clayton Henry is in. And Uat Alok also in off the bench. We feel like this is a really, really big game for Clayton Henry. And this is only his second game in the Pan Am Center since the start of the 2019-2020 season. Jafari steps out of bounds on the sideline, so we know how injured Henry's been, but that statistic, that fact, really puts it into perspective.
I saw him before the game, and he's like 2 years since I played in here. 2 years.
And his last home game here was actually against Northern New Mexico. It was December 29th, 2019. He played well. That's when he came back from a hand injury and then re-injured the hand right after. Last year plus, he's been dealing with a foot injury. And he's one of those guys you just have to root for. He's dealt with 4 injuries essentially the last couple of years. And if he can finish his career strong, that would be cool to see.
I want to see him finish strong. I think he's a really good player. I think he can really stretch the floor, and the Aggies have needed that lately.
Henry's in the corner on the left side here. Teddy Allen has the basketball against this Eagle zone. McKinney a pull at baseline, follow-away jumper. Henry crashing hard. And he touched it last. Ball goes to the Eagles. Long scoreless drought of nearly 5 minutes for Northern New Mexico. They scored the first 3 today. The Aggies have since scored the previous 10 as Allen pokes it away and leads the break. Zigzagging into the front court, down the lane, and he's blocked away by Damian Thomas, who's somebody that you saw play in high school locally at Oñate, Joe.
Yeah, he was at Oñate, and I've played a lot of pickup ball with him, actually. We've gone to El Paso a few times and played some pickup together, and he's a real long, real good body for a college basketball player.
A couple local players are Northern New Mexico. Keyshawn Keys played at Centennial. His father, Billy's on the staff. We'll talk about that a lot today. Billy, a former Aggie great, associate head coach at Northern. Good dump off. Alok finds Mike Peak, and Peak already has a half dozen.
And that's the weakness in the 2-3 zone. You get it right there on the free throw line, and it should be high-low.
And it helps, too, when you have post players who can really pass it. And even with Johnny McCants out today, the Aggies have a number of post players who are willing passers and good decision makers. Allen rumbles down the key. He's blocked again. Picked up by Howard Jr., who attacks the rim. Defended well by McKinney and Henry. Howard's down. 3 misses for Zambrano, and Howard is still down underneath the hoop. I think he's also wondering why wasn't a foul called. Henry was the initial defender here as you get a second look, and then it was McKinney from behind. It looks like that was pretty good defense on both guys.
It looked clean to me. It's a hard fall. he looks like he's all right. But I like the aggressiveness. Teddy taking it down the middle of the zone, and he's going to have his kickouts. I'd like to see him maybe hop step in the zone, be under control, and kick out for a 3.
Teddy has struggled with his shot from 3 recently, but has been really good around the rim. That's where he got the bulk of his points Wednesday. Scored 18 against Washington State. A-Lock going to work on Thomas, and a good jump hook drops through the cylinder. 14-3 Aggies, just over 6 minutes in. The Aggies won by 74 against Northern 2 years ago. 104-30 was the final. That's a brick from Howard. The Aggies led at the halftime break, 60-12. They made 23s for the game. It was the largest margin of victory in program history in that matchup 2 years ago. Mid-post peak, baseline A-Lock. He had a look at the rim, but sent it back outside. They'll lob it to him. He gets a second look, and he taps it through, and a good feed by Teddy Allen, who's been a willing passer all year. And if you're the Aggies, you wanted to start like this. Trailed early 3-0, now a 16-0 run. You want to take care of business early and then be able to rest some of the guys like a Teddy Allen, who doesn't need to have 20 or 30 minutes here today.
Yeah, this start is good for the Aggies. They obviously didn't start good last game against Washington State, and they need to work on that. And like I said, this is a business game where they work on stuff. They're getting a lot of different guys in, different lineups in. They had a full court press here earlier. They're just working on stuff that they can implement later.
LeVar Williams is in off the Aggie bench. Did not play Wednesday at Washington State. It's McNair, Williams, A-Lock, Henry, and McKinney. The Aggies in the whites, the dark jerseys, Northern New Mexico. Player getting ready to check in for Northern, and the official, Ronnie Hernandez, thought he was going to inbound the ball. That's Joe Satterfield, who's getting ready to check in. Turnaround jumper from the elbow, misfires for Weaver, but it's tapped out to him, along 2, way short. And here comes Henry. Eagles will stay in the zone defense. Foul line McNair looking for A-Lock. It wasn't there. Now they'll rainbow lob it to him. A-Lock outside for McKinney. Good defense by Keyshawn Keys. The 3 is shallow for Williams. The second tap is good. That's that 6'11" length for you at A-Lock. Three for Harris off the back rim. Henry taps it, collected by Thomas. Stays with the Eagles. They're not gun shy one bit. Quick release there from Thomas, and here comes McKinney. Lob for A-Lock, and it's tapped away by Damian Thomas, and now they're going to set A-Lock, touched it last. And the ball will go to Northern New Mexico. Eagles struggling from the field, 1 for 12 so far from the field. In-state battle, and in-state Northern New Mexico. Aggies ahead by 15. First of 2 games in 3 days for the Aggies. They're hosting Northern New Mexico today, and a familiar face is back in town. There's a look at associate head coach Billy Keys for the Eagles. Boy, was he a good player here. Former Aggie great, 14-year pro after his Aggie career. Played for NM State 98 through 2000. And Joe, he was a 1,000-point scorer in 2 years on the floor. That's unheard of. And he took the Aggies to the NCAA tournament in 1999. You played with him a couple years ago in some pickup ball. He can still go a little bit, can he?
Yeah, he can still go. He can still go. He likes to wear his old jerseys and kind of relive the part. But he can really score the ball. He can shoot the ball really well.
Billy has a bright future in coaching. He's an outstanding former Aggie alum who has done a lot for the state. He's done a lot for this program. He played for Lou Henson, and one of the coolest days of my life, especially in sports, was I was at practice one day when Lou Henson was around. Chris Gian's practice. I think it was Chris's first year. You were probably playing, of course. And Lou was at practice. Billy Keys showed up, and I got to see firsthand the love that Billy had for Lou and that Lou had for Billy. And Billy Keys still to this day talks about how much he expects out of his point guards. He said Lou Henson always told him that, Billy, when we win, it's a team win. When we lose, the blame goes on the coach first and then you second because you're my point guard. And Billy, in a podcast we had with him a while back, said, I really, really expect a lot out of my point guards because that's what Lou Henson did with me. And he calls him Sweet Lou. Sweet Lou Henson.
Sweet Lou. Billy's a good guy. He really is. He's a good guy.
He grew up in Chicago, so he watched Lou Henson when Lou was coaching at Illinois, and then when the opportunity came up to transfer, because he was at Northeastern Illinois, which disbanded athletics after Billy's sophomore year, so he had to go somewhere to play, and him and a handful of others chose this Aggie program, and a big reason why was because being from Chicago, they knew who Lou Henson was, and then Russ Bradford was a great recruiter in Chicago, and it turned out well. They took the Aggies to the NCAA tournament in 1999, and then the NIT 1 year later. Aggies with a kick, so the Eagles will inbound. Billy's son's on the floor right now, Keyshawn Keys, who played his high school ball at Centennial. He's at the top of the key right now. A three from the corner is an air ball for Thomas. Backside, McKinney. We'll slow it down a little bit. Trailer is McNair. He's looking to shoot a three.
I like the patience.
Avery.
I like the patience the Aggies have. McKinney could have shot it, get it down to the middle, and you get out a kick-out three like this.
And Aylock can shoot it. That's his third made three this year. He made a bunch at Coppin State a year ago.
He's versatile. He can go down. He's got the little jump hook. He can shoot the set shot three. He's a good player.
He might be one of the most skilled post players the Aggies have had in quite some time offensively.
I'm sure Yvonne would have something to say about that one.
That's true. I was even thinking of Eli Chua, Joe.
Yeah, Eli can hoop too. Eli's left hand was really good.
Williams for three. That's an inside-outside triple that pinballs off. Keys for three. That's Billy's son, Keyshawn Keys. High rebound for Chi Avery. Aylock has a much smaller defender on him there. He goes with a sky hook. Offensive rebound for Avery. Double team comes. Bounces out for McKinney. 10 to shoot for Mario McKinney. And a foul is called on the arc on Joe Satterfield Jr. Played his high school ball at Centennial for Billy Keys. Helped them win a state title.
His brother plays at UTEP.
He does, yeah. We saw Jarrell Satterfield earlier this year. He did not play in that particular game when UTEP came here, but apparently he made a bunch of shots the other night when UTEP beat McNeese State.
A little confusion. What's going on with the inbound?
Rashawn Cotton is on the floor for the first time for the Aggies. Number 12 in white. He's in the left corner area. Three for Williams. Avery tracks it down. Fresh 20.
Aggies really crashing the offensive glass. They have a size advantage. They should crash the offensive glass.
Williams can't collect. It's grabbed by Keys. Northern New Mexico hasn't scored since taking an early 3-0 lead. And Avery wipes it off the window. A scoreless drought of over 11 minutes for Northern.
And when the Aggies get the ball inside, I'd like to see some guys on the opposite side cut. You got a lot of guys standing around in the zone. Got to cut to the basket the same way they cut for offensive rebounds. They can get layups like that in the zone.
Believe it or not, that was the first field goal try as an Aggie for Rashawn Cotton, who's only playing in his fourth game this year. Just like Henry and Avery and Peak, this is a big game for Rashawn Cotton, who has not been playing the last couple of weeks. Peak with a steal. No numbers, so he will slow it down. Here's Henry, rhythm 3. That's a good look for Clayton Henry.
And he can do that. That's what the Aggies have been missing a little bit. A guy that can stretch the floor.
First points this season for Henry, playing in his 3rd game. And he almost drew a charge. Blocking foul on Henry, and that will take us to break for the Under 8 media. Big game here today for the Calgary, Canada native, trying to find his rhythm in his return to the lineup. Aggies ahead by 21. A Clayton Henry 3 gives the Aggies a 24-3 advantage. This is a 24-0 scoring run over the previous 11-18 for the Aggies. We were just talking off the air, Joe, about the role that Henry could have when WAC play begins here in a little over a week. Do you feel like the role that he could grow into is similar to what he had 2 years ago when he came off the bench and played right around 15, 16 minutes a game?
Yeah, it is. He's going to come in here and stretch the floor and play defense. I was telling you earlier, he's a big body. He can get down and rebound, help guys like Will and Teddy and Jabari out. But really, he just needs to shoot his shot when he has his opportunities. And like you said, 14, 15 minutes a game, and the Aggies are going to be in a good spot.
Henry had a pair of hand injuries 2 years ago, foot injury last year, foot injury again this year. And that'll snap the scoreless drought of 3 for Howard Jr., the junior from Pasadena, California. Henry only played 16 combined minutes against LMU and Washington State. 11 against LMU, only 5 in Pullman on Wednesday.
It's the second shot that they've made when they shoot a lot of threes.
Yep. 10 of the 17 field goal tries for Northern have been threes so far. This is Will McNair at the free throw line. Almost had a double-double Wednesday. It is amazing the progress he has made from last year to this year.
Even game to game. Since the first game that I watched to now, just his body language, his poise out there in the court has changed.
Harris thought about it, penetrates, reverse layup is no good. Foul on Henry, and Christian's not happy with that defense for Henry. He is known, it has been known the last couple of years, as the best perimeter defender for the Aggies. That is what he is in the game to do, is guard the arc, and that'll frustrate Christians.
And he's coming off injury. He's maybe a step behind, but by the time conference starts, I think he's going to go into that role.
Aggies are resting Tillman, Pryor, Rice, and McCants here today. Thought maybe Nate Pryor would play because he's another guy who's still trying to work his way back, but then again, he's been playing 30-plus minutes the last week plus, and he probably just needs some rest.
Yeah, he was coming off injury as well,
yeah.
And then went into a big role playing a lot of minutes, so they're just getting him some rest as Northern comes out in a full court press here. And they're going back to a man-to-man now. It doesn't change. They throw it down to Will.
Yeah. Has a much smaller defender on him. That's Weaver defending McNair. He catches the lob. Weaver's only 6'7", McNair 6'10", poked away, loose. McNair gets on the floor, hands it off to Peak. Shot clock is still low. It's at 2. Peak for 3. And Henry keeps the possession alive. Splitting defenders, Allen. And a foul is called defensive on Northern New Mexico. That's their 5th.
And that's what Clayton can do. Crashes the offensive glass right here. He's just a big body. Keep the possession alive.
Rashawn Cotton will trigger in. Allen was wide open, reverses it home. That's the first deuce for Teddy Allen. And he touched the ball after it went through the cylinder, so the Aggies get a warning on that. Allen averaging 17 points per game. What I think is more impressive, though, is he leads the Aggies in rebounding. He's averaging 7 boards a game, and that will make Christians very happy.
Yeah, he's another guy that just a lot bigger in person than he looks on paper. And he gets in there, and he's not afraid to get in there and rebound.
He's been rebounding well. He's been defending well. He's been a good passer. The area where he struggled at times is with his shot from the arc. Here's a three-pointer for Cotton. That's no good. Long rebound to McNair. Put it on the deck. Cotton again. Jab step into three. That's good. It's a good sign for Vershawn Cotton. His first made field goal as an Aggie.
A little weight off his shoulders right there. Got to see it go in one time.
He got such a late start. He was a late addition in October. He arrived on campus the day of the inter-squad open scrimmage and just never really had time to get his feet wet. He was thrown right into the mix immediately. Peak had it blocked partially, and then a putback is good for Weaver. The Aggies led the Eagles by 48 at the halftime break 2 years ago. They lead by 22 right now. Allen bounces for McNair, and he stuffs it home one-handed.
Great pass. Teddy's really getting into the paint, and he's making the right decision.
That's 4 helpers now for Teddy Allen. Foul well away from the basket on Peak. Glancing over at the Aggie bench, and Jabari Rice is not sitting down as we get a second look at the McNair dunk. I think the Aggies added an extra assistant today. Jabari Rice is coaching, standing up. So is Johnny McCants, for that matter, and Nate Pryor. But Jabari very vocal. He was very vocal during warm-ups earlier as well.
And just because you don't dress out doesn't mean you can't be a coach off the floor.
He's a coach on the floor, so no surprise that he's trying to coach off the floor as well. Slipping is A-Lock. He catches. Good catch. Can't finish, but he will shoot 2. Another good find by Teddy Allen.
Yeah, and they're in this man-to-man. Just a simple pick and roll. Throw the pocket pass. It's a great pass.
I am very interested to see how many minutes Chris Jans has for Teddy Allen today. I can't imagine he would play much, if at all, in half 2. A-Lock, the grad transfer from New Zealand, a little too heavy on the back end. Northern New Mexico 5-2 in games that have counted. They've also played a lot of exhibition games. Another 3, and this one swishes in for Howard. And he has a few words for the Aggie bench after he knocks it down. Allen defended by Jafari. Going to work on him. And he gets rewarded with free throws. Foul is on Weaver. That is number 7 on Northern New Mexico. They are not shy from the arc, Joe. They put it up.
They shouldn't be. It's an exhibition game for them, but these guys want to win too. Anytime you play a team that's in New Mexico, you want to win that game. And they're going to come out here and shoot the ball. They have nothing to lose.
Teddy Allen, a 91% free throw shooter. This is where he has really excelled this year, capitalizing on his free throw chances. He's been in double figures in all 11 games, 17 a game, top scorer. Also the top rebounder at 7 boards per game. The Aggies pick up the pressure. Quick catch and shoot 3 by Zambrano, and he's fouled by Vershawn Cotton. On the scouting report, it says shooter, I'm sure, for Zambrano. Billy Keys was talking about him before the game today with me. He was talking about how good of a shooter Zambrano is, and when he catches it, he's looking to hoist it.
Yeah, another New Mexico kid who this game means something to these New Mexico kids. Maybe not as much to the guys that come from other places, but this is a big game for them, exhibition or not.
Zambrano from Albuquerque makes the first 2 free throws. 6'2", 201-pound sophomore Makes all three. Rashawn Cotton, you at A-Lock, Teddy Allen, Clayton Henry, and Chi-Chi Avery right now for the Aggies in the white with the ball. And Allen had to go off his leg. 3:53 left. Half number one from the Pan Am. The Aggies at home for the first time in December. They lead 35-17. Adam Young and Joe Garza back with you from the Pan American Center. The Aggies coming off a perfect road stretch, a 4-0 road stretch, coming off an impressive comeback win against Washington State on Wednesday. And maybe even more impressive about that was the fact that it was a true Power 5 road win. The other wins that Chris Jans has had have been in the places like Vegas when they beat Washington State, Jackson, Mississippi a couple years ago against Mississippi State, beat Illinois in Chicago at the United Center when you were here, Joe. And this one was, as Chris Jans would say, in their barn. It was in Pullman, and that had not been done. So that was a big milestone for this program.
Those wins, they just feel so good. When you go into somebody else's place and you beat them like that, you just feel so great about it. You know, the plane ride back, everything is just so much better.
Three is off for Howard. Teddy Allen collects. Chris Jans was vocal after that win about the talk in the media that the Aggies are winning ugly right now. And that might be the case. I mean, it's not been 100% pretty, but there's also something to be said about finding a way, and that's what they did during the road trip.
Yeah, finding a way to win during their non-conference schedule is big to get those wins. And yeah, like Coach Jan says, hasn't been pretty. What do you say? They're playing like he looks?
Yes, that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah, they've been playing like that. I can say that.
They won those 4 games by a total of 13 points. In the way I view it, I don't look at it as winning ugly. I look at it as winning tough and being resilient and finding a way. I mean, I think that's more than winning ugly, is just being tough, resilient, and finding a way down the stretch, and then executing down the stretch when you have to. They're making winning plays.
Yeah, the resiliency and them coming back, those things will come back later down the road in conference play, because there's going to be close games at Utah Valley, at Grand Canyon, at SFA. Those same situations are going to come up, and since the Aggies have been there before, they're going to react better.
You've been in those huddles too. When you're in a huddle and it's 4 minutes left or 3 minutes left, tie game, or you're up a couple, Chris Jans will bring it up. Hey, we've been here before, right?
Every time he say we've been here before, and he'll bring up examples. Hey, Washington State, we've been here. UNM, we've been here. UTEP, we've been here. And it just calms you down. It calms you down and brings you back to earth, and you go out there and execute and win the game.
Teddy Allen now has 3 of his 5 points from the free throw line. Lead grows to 19. It's been as high as 24, and Northern New Mexico starting to settle in a bit here. That's Damian Thomas again. McKinney outside for Williams. The trailer is Allen. Stampedes down the key, can't finish, but more free throws coming up for Teddy Allen.
Yeah, Northern New Mexico starting to make some shots. Aggies came out in the zone, and they got it to the middle where you're supposed to get it against the zone and get an easy layup. Just like that. That's what the Aggies need to do on the other side as well. Interesting to see both teams in a college basketball game play zone like that.
Damian Thomas 2 years ago in this building had 10 points, and to your point, he is long and lanky. Certainly has a good body for the college level.
And he hasn't been playing basketball that long.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier.
Only a few years. He's been one of those guys that just didn't really pick it up at an early age, but now look at him getting his opportunity.
He's had a good career for the Eagles. The Aggie lead is at 41-22. 2:35 left here in the first half. Great to have you with us today. The first of 2 straight home games for the Aggies. Right on cue. That's Thomas along 2. He had his toes on the line. Allen slings it out. Henry. Williams missed a couple of threes earlier. He'll bounce it out for Allen. From the corner, pinball's off. That's his first 3-point try. Teddy was on the floor 2 hours before tip today, getting shots up with associate head coach James Miller. Really, really working tirelessly are getting that three-point shot back as he fires again and is way off wide right on this one. A-Lock keeps it alive. Allen to the rim, blocked away. He wanted goaltending. Jafari on the other end. No foul called here. Henry has it poked away, dives on the floor trying to grab it. And we'll get a jump ball. Possession will stay with Northern New Mexico.
And I think that's why Teddy's been staying in the game. He's been less efficient. His three-point shot hasn't been there. He's really getting to the basket, being real aggressive. That's a good block. Good block by Damian. But Teddy needs to continue to be aggressive because they're going to need that down the stretch. He has to be aggressive and has to be confident with his ability to score.
Teddy from three in the previous 3 games coming into this one, 1 for 18. His three-point percentage has dipped to 30% for the year. Now he does shoot a lot of threes, so the number's high. He had 74 attempts in the first 11 games. Henry with the steal. He has McKinney behind him. Henry will attack. Layup no good. Put back for Mario McKinney. Showing off his hops. Howard off balance, and he travels with it. Quality defense for McKinney on the other end.
And there's a nice steal by Clayton. Just couldn't finish at the rim, but Mario's there. Wow, he did get, yeah, he did get really high.
Up there. I think if you take out height and size, McKinney's one of the best leapers on the team, along with a guy like Chichi Avery. Those two can really get up. McKinney a pitch out for Henry. Swirls off the three. High rebound collected by A-Lock. Williams fires. He's had so many threes this year. Pinball off, where it's down and then pops out of the cylinder. Alley-oop attempt is a little too high for Jamal Harris.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Harris has a 40-inch vertical or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That lob wasn't too far off.
McKinney will reset. About 7 seconds is the difference between game and shot clock. A-Lock reversal slips in. You at A-Lock with pretty quiet 14 points and 4 rebounds off the Aggie bench.
And you know he likes Teddy being aggressive because he's dumping it off to him every time for layups. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see as much of Teddy in the second half.
Howard down the key, runs over Henry, no call, and he lays it in. And they're going to give a flop warning as well to Henry, so add that to it as well. Basket will count for the Eagles, and a flop warning called on Henry. So the next flop that's called on the Aggies will lead to a technical free throw. 45-26 is the halftime score. Aggies led by as many as 24 in half one.
Yeah, I heard Johnny say it earlier that they haven't reached their full potential yet. And like we said earlier, we wanted them to be a deep team. We thought they were going to be a deep team. And with Donnie out, you can see they're still executing at a high level.
Aggies will start half two with Peak, McNair, Avery, McKinney, and Allen. They go inside early, and it's a jump hook that falls in for Will McNair. 6 points for the big man from Philadelphia. Northern New Mexico went into an 11-minute scoreless drought after their first 3 points of the game. Thomas a step back three, that's a brick. Then they finished strong in half one. Zooming ahead, McKinney lobs it for McNair. Back outside for Peak. McNair could not get a clean catch on it. Operating here in the short corner, double team comes, jumps to pass out of it for Peak. Offensive rebound, Allen. 3-point woes continue for the Aggies. Allen looking for a cutter. There wasn't one, so McNair will heave. Offensive rebound, McKinney.
Aggies dominating the glass. They're just bigger, stronger.
They've been a good rebounding team again this year. Not as good as Christians would like. Traveling violation on Allen. Christians expects the Aggies to be one of the best in the country, not just a good rebounding team compared to others.
He's had some guys that could really rebound the ball too in his time here.
Nobody better than Jamario Jones. Allen pokes it away. Speaking of former Aggies, good news for Trev Queen. He was signed to a two-way deal to the Rockets last night. And he made his return to the NBA earlier today. Got some brief action late in the Rockets' win earlier today. You never got to play with Trev, correct?
I didn't get to play with Trev. I talked to him multiple times. He can really play. He's a 3-and-D guy, and that's what the NBA is made out of. Long guys that can shoot the three, and he's exactly that.
Tough catch there for Avery, defended by Howard. Chi-Chi using his length. Into the hands now of Peak. Had a great start to this half for the Aggies on the offensive end.
And that's one thing that they need to work on as a team. Just coming out of the half, whether it's the first half, the second half, they got to put together possessions on the defensive end and then come score on the offensive end. They can't dig themselves into holes like we saw the last few games.
Dug themselves in a huge hole Wednesday and somehow clawed their way out of it. There's a right-handed hook earlier from McNair. This one left-handed. And Will McNair has all 4 Aggies points in half 2.
Teddy Allen filling up the stat sheet with other than points. That's his 6th assist.
3 is good for Jafari. Teddy's flirting right now with a triple-double. 7 points, 6 helpers, 5 rebounds. Queen almost had a triple-double against this Northern New Mexico program in this building 2 years ago. Speaking of Trev. Allen down the lane, and he stuffs it over Thomas. Oh, what a jam for Teddy Allen.
Wow. Good kick out, patience.
Saw that one coming a mile away. Jabari Rice likes it.
He's excited about that one. He had one similar against UNM.
Teddy can get up there. He showed it off on Wednesday in Pullman and does it again a few days later. The redshirt junior out of Phoenix will convert on the three-point play. And he's giggling on the other end. Aggie lead grows to 22. A brick from Howard. Pinballs into the hands of Mike Peak. Allen trying to thread the needle. That was a Jason Kidd kind of a pass right there. Couldn't thread it. Howard throws it away, stolen by Allen. Trying to stay under control. Left-handed feed. Oh, what a pass by Teddy Allen. Chi-Chi Avery converts.
He's got a little swagger to him right now, and those are the kind of plays that are going to get him into a rhythm. He's kind of that player, a big dunk, a nice flashy pass. He's got a little hop in his step right now.
10, 7, and 5 for the Nebraska transfer. Dump off by Zambrano, and he finds Thomas. He missed the jam, and then he couldn't put it back in. Mario McKinney will slow it down. Feeds it off, mid-post extended for McNair. The big man's had a good half. That's a fall-away jumper. He is a skilled post player out of Philadelphia.
Big Philly. I didn't know he had the fadeaway in his game. I didn't know he had that.
Well, he showed off the three-pointer earlier this year. Apparently he has that in his toolbox. Tyreek Weaver able to convert, and he will shoot one free throw on the other side. The foul is called on Mike Peak. A half dozen here in the half for McNair. He joins Allen and Aylock in double figures. 3 Aggies in double figures. Teddy Allen, the Wizard, putting on a show. Heck of a day so far for Teddy Allen. 10 points, 7 helpers, 5 rebounds, and a dunk that you might see on SportsCenter tonight. Over Damian Thomas, who is 6'8" and long. And Teddy Allen right in your living room dunking over Thomas moments ago. That's big-time stuff.
That is. He had a dunk like that in one of the last games.
Yep.
And that's what you want, you know, off the left foot, going right, got to punch that one.
Yeah, he had a big dunk. It wasn't quite like that, but still pretty good against Washington State Wednesday, and it was in the meat of the game when the Aggies really needed it. So the folks in our truck, if we had a Whataburger play of the game today, that would have been it. No question about it. Foul shot for Weaver. Can't convert the three-point play after making the deuce before the break. McKinney, Avery, Peak, McNair, and Allen. There's a reverse slam for Cheat Sheet Avery.
There's that athleticism that you were talking about. That's special.
Yeah, he might be able to get up better than anybody else on the team. He might be. And he's only a freshman. Fall-away jumper baseline is good for Tyreek Weaver. You at Elock, who had a good first half, is getting ready to check in for the Aggies. Still interested to see how much more we're going to see of Teddy Allen. Can't imagine he's going to go a whole lot longer, given the way the score is right now. Wide open McNair, mid-range jumper. Thought about it too long. Weaver pushes for Northern New Mexico. Too easy there for Tyreek Weaver. I don't care what the score is. That is not acceptable for Chris Giants.
The game picking up pace a little bit, back and forth now.
There's Jared Perez. Leaves it for Zambrano. Quick release, high rebound McNair. You can tell McNair wants to shoot that when he catches, and he's pretty open there in the arc.
They're giving him the ball.
Inside outside for Allen to the rim. He's bumped. They'll count it. They will give Teddy Allen continuation. And he adds to his total a dozen now for Teddy.
And that's what I was talking about earlier. A dunk like that, a flashy pass, and now he just feels better about himself. He's got that rhythm going. And watch him. Oh, Chichi Avery here. Wow.
And Allen with the three-point play. Teddy with those 7 assists today. That is a new career high for him. His previous career high was 6 against Penn State. February 23rd last season when he was playing for the Cornhuskers of Nebraska. Keyshawn Keys back in for Jared Perez. Elock had a great first half, 14.5-1. Outside to Avery. Avery goes away from the ball screen, trying to bounce it for Peak, and he bangs it off the knee of an Eagle.
There's a classic Coach Jans right there. I'm sure he's telling.
He knows one level, right? I mean, he's going to coach his tail off, whether he's up 25 or it's a one-point game. Allen, another hard move, and one again for Teddy Allen. He's up to 15 now, and he's going to shoot his 9th free throw of the game. And he was bumped a bit. He's kind of favoring, I think, his hip after he converted on this layup right here.
He has that ability to finish. He's very awkward. He jumps off the same foot and finishes with the same hand, but he's a big, strong guy that can finish like that and make free throws. I wouldn't doubt if Coach Jans gets someone to get him in here in a little bit.
Still in a lot of pain after that layup. I don't think the Aggie bench knows that Teddy Allen, of course, wants to play. He doesn't want to come out, so he will stay in. Part of this, too, Joe, is Teddy still trying to find that rhythm offensively and get that shot back. He's only attempted 2 threes in the game.
Yeah, and that's how you get it back, is getting to the basket, see the ball go in, get some free throws, and then all of a sudden the basket looks a whole lot bigger.
Here's Keyshawn Keys, the son of the former Aggie great Billy Keys. Skips out of it. That beats the timer, a 3 for Joe Satterfield Jr. Satterfield played some high school ball in Las Cruces, won a state title for Centennial when Billy Keys was one of his assistants.
It's great to see guys like that get a bucket here in the Pan Am. A lot of guys on the court that I played with or played against and asked me questions about what it was like to play in the Pan Am, and now they're getting their opportunities.
Backdoor feed to Aylock. Traveling violation on you at Aylock. Do you still miss those days, Joe?
Yeah, I miss those days all the time.
Those were the easiest days of your life, right? You're playing basketball, people are kind of catering to you a little bit.
Yeah, you know, you go to a restaurant and people recognize you or something like that. They were fun. They were fun. I definitely wish I could go back and keep playing and experience that. But I love to see other guys experience it.
Keys off balance, misses the layup. McKinney lobs it for Henry, tough catch. And then Keys can't catch it on the other end. 12-12 left here in half 2. You, myself, and Sean Buchanan, we were talking earlier, and you said that you might even have some eligibility left. You're not even sure.
I really don't have any idea. No one ever really told me. I was playing for free. I don't know what I was doing out there 2 years.
Yeah.
Just playing for fun.
We'll have academics check on that just to see. Chris Jans would take you back. Steal by Satterfield. Good body control, layup on the other end. This hasn't been as clean as Chris Jans would like it. There's no question about that. Northern New Mexico has only been outscored 19-14 here in half 2, and they finished the final 10 minutes of half 1 very strong. Mike peek to the rim, help defense there, stays patient, missed the floater, and it leaks out to Keys. And Northern's done that a few times today where they step out of bounds on the sideline. This time it is Jamal Harris, the junior from Anderson, Indiana. 64-41, the Aggies ahead by 23. First home game for the Aggies in 17 days. Billy Keys and Northern New Mexico in town. 64-41 the score. Billy, a former Aggie great, played 14 years in the pros after his illustrious Aggie career. Only 2 years, and he was a 1,000-point scorer. You and I were talking about this earlier, Joe. At one point, when Billy was the head coach at Mayfield High School in town, you had 3 former Aggies coaching the local high schools. You had Michael Nanez at Oñate, Coach Benjamin, Will Benjamin, who you played for at Las Cruces High, and then Billy spent 4 years at Mayfield High School. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it is cool. It's cool for these kids to get knowledge from those guys that have been there before. That's priceless knowledge that I used from Coach Ben, that I took from Billy. It's special for the kids that are playing high school basketball. Saw an interview the other day with your former coach, William Benjamin, great player here, and somebody wanted to talk about his Aggie playing days, and he said, man, I'm an old cat. He goes, we don't need to talk about that. He's like, that's years ago. That's not that long ago. He's 51 now. I saw him yesterday, and he could play. He could play. He likes to play it down like it wasn't special to him, but it meant something to him. Pass by Henry. 2 free throws coming up for you at Aylock. He could really play, and he was part of some of the best Aggie teams in the history of this program. I mean, when William Benjamin was playing here, they were ranked in the top 25 consistently. Yeah, we were actually just talking about that. Me, Jeff, Coach Ben, we were talking about when they went to UNLV. UNLV was number 1. Greg Anthony and those guys, and Coach Ben, I think they were 11th, and McCarthy was the coach. He said it was a fun game. They didn't win that game, but a fun game. Larry Johnson, Stacy Augman playing on those UNLV teams. And that team was good. Yes, a few NBA guys there. And the Aggies had William Benjamin and Randy Brown, Reggie Jordan, a couple guys that played in the NBA. There's Billy's son, Keyshawn Keys. Contested three for Weaver. Mario McKinney with his 12th rebound of the game. That's the point guard. He pointed that out during the commercial break. He's a 6'1" point guard, and he has a dozen rebounds in the game.
6'1" with 12 rebounds. That's a highlight for him, for sure.
Future is bright for this young man out of St. Louis, Vashon High School. Started his college career at Missouri and transferred to John A. Logan Junior College in Southern Illinois. And now he's an Aggie. Former Missouri top recruit.
He's very athletic. He plays with great pace. I really like when he pushes the ball. And he's just got to work on making some better decisions in transition, and then he'll be real good.
He reminds me so much of A.J. Harris, and I think he still has a little ways to go to get to A.J.'s level, but a lot of similarities between the two guys. Mike, one-handed dunk.
Yeah, A.J., a guy I played with as well, and just a real steady point guard. Could change his speed, was super quick with the ball.
Here's Keyshawn Keys drills the triple. Talked about Trev Queen and his success in the pro level, playing in the NBA now. A.J. Harris is playing very well overseas.
Yeah, he's playing really good. He's playing really good. Just scoring the ball, distributing the ball. He's grown up, and he's a real pro now. He's a real pro.
Inside outside for LeVar Williams. Hesitation initially. Low post drop to Alok. Inside outside for Sean Cotton. Cuts, mid-range jumper with 2 on the timer, shallow. Collected by Harris. Jamal Harris, the burst. Quick move to the rim, and Mike Peak landed hard on his leg underneath. It was an awkward landing there for Mike. Look it up with the help of Henry and Williams, and it looks like he is okay. It's a very weird landing here. Look at this. Awkward landing for Peak. So he's going to head off, and he'll limp off a little bit, but looks like he is okay.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right. This is not the kind of game where you want guys to go down like that. And he's playing hard, trying to get that chase down block. That's what he does. Athletic guy, runs the court. So we hope he's all right.
Jamal Harris, a junior from Anderson, Indiana. This roster kind of all over the place for the Eagles. Harris from Indiana, Mark Howard from Pasadena, Satterfield calls Chicago home, Jared Perez from Chihuahua, Mexico, Alejandro Hernandez from Madrid, Spain for the Eagles. They're out of Espanola, New Mexico, NAIA school. This is an exhibition game for them. Step back three, Henry way off, and Keys collects. The Aggies beat the Eagles by 74 in this building 2 years ago, December 29th, 2019. It was the largest margin of victory in program history. The Aggies made 20 triples that day. Harris couldn't catch it, scooped up by Henry.
Yeah, not quite 20 triples today. They've shot about 20.
Cotton a step back three. Alok wisely doesn't reach over the back of Hernandez. And then Cotton got his hand on it. Ryan Cordova trying to call a timeout, the head coach of the Eagles, and it looks like we'll get a jump ball.
And Aggie's starting to play a little bit out of sorts right now. I'd like to see him execute still, regardless of how much time is left. Just still got to work on things, still got to get better at things. They're not a perfect team, and get the ball inside, make cuts off of it, and play how you want to play in the future.
They call a timeout. No jump ball. Timeout called by Northern. We'll step aside with 8:36 left in half two. Adam Young and former Aggie guard Joe Garza, 70-46. The Aggies lead NAIA Northern New Mexico. NM State looking for their 5th straight win and trying to win their 7th in their previous 8. And it's been a game full of dunks. We've seen some highlight dunks. This one came from Mike Peak. 8 points on 4 of 10 shooting for Peak, looking for his first double-figure scoring game this year. This was an athletic move by Chichi Avery, who earned a start today because the Aggies are resting a handful of players. And this was the best one, Joe. Teddy Allen dunking over Damian Thomas. I do not think we will see Teddy the rest of the way, but I might be wrong.
There's still a little bit of time. You know he wants to go back in.
He does.
He wants to go back in. But I don't think we'll see him. I think Coach Jans will let this one play out.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, especially after it seemed like he might have bumped his hip or did something on a layup earlier where he was in a lot of pain and he was holding his hip. So I think that might have been the sign that he's done for the day. It is a quick turnaround. We'll see if the Aggies rest some players again on Monday. It might be a little harder to do against Division II UT Permian Basin.
Aggies going to a 2-3 zone right here. This is something that they've been trying to work on.
That 3 barely grazes the rim for Key. Strong rebound offensive for Jamal Harris. Steal out of the key, LeVar Williams. And Williams will go to the free throw line for 2. Aggies race over to help up their teammate. That's a staple of a Chris Jans coach team. If one of your teammates is down, you better help him up.
Good steal, good strong move. And he's got a chance to get on the board. I think he's the only Aggie that hasn't scored yet.
Yeah, LeVar Williams, the lone Aggie without a point. He can change that right here. 5 for 8 on free throws this year. Williams still has not attempted a 2-point shot this year. All 28 field goal attempts have come from 3 for LeVar Williams.
And he can shoot it. If he gets into a rhythm, he's one of those guys that can get him up in a hurry.
Was an outstanding high school scorer in Massachusetts, 28 a game as a high school senior in Dorchester, Massachusetts. Henry's bumped, and the call is made about 80 feet away from the rim. And this will be the under 8 media. 7:51 left here in half 2. Aggies 72, Eagles 46. The Aggies in position for their 5th consecutive. Great to see Coach back on the bench. His first home game since November 13th against UTEP. Missed the previous 2 home games because of COVID protocols. A lot of guys have seen a lot of minutes today, including Clayton Henry. 16 for Allen, 16 for Aylock, 10 for McNair. And that 3 is good for Zambrano. He finally knocks one down. He's 1 for 4 from deep. Allen is back in, and he fires a 3, and he drills the 3. He might have talked his way back into the game, Joe. That might have happened.
I think so. I think he did. Let him know he wasn't quite there yet, wanted to get a few more up. That one goes in for him.
Allen has been in double figures now in every single game this year. Scooped up by Vershawn Cotton. If he hurries, the Aggies have numbers. Bullet pass quickly in the corner for Avery. Couple of jabs, looking for a ball screen. He'll get it from Aylock. Foul line jumper, rims in. Chichi Avery, the friendly bounce. Avery, Aylock, Cotton, Henry, and Allen right now for Chris Jans' team. Weaver, pull-up jumper, drops through. I think one of the things too, Joe, is you're trying to leave a game like this and not develop any bad habits or bad tendencies.
Right, you want to work on the right stuff. You want to work on the good stuff, execute right, and these are the kind of games that can get a little sloppy, but they need a game like this after coming off the road for such a long time to get back to earth and back in the Pan Am and just back to what they need to do.
The Aggies really only have one player on the roster who you wouldn't expect to see many, if any, minutes. That's Cameron Crawford, the walk-on. Even Vershawn Cotton has had a pretty successful career at other stops at Akron and LIU, and Vershawn hasn't played much this year, but If you look at his career as a whole, he's an established college basketball player, so there really isn't a bench to dive into because of how deep Christians usually goes and what he has available today. Eagles still in that zone defense. Aggies will chuck it around the arc for Allen. 19 points, 7 helpers, 5 rebounds for Teddy. Looking for another assist right here. Henry too strong on the 3. Quickly ahead for Harris, but he misses the dunk. Wise choice by McKinney not to meet him in midair. Avery from the corner, bingo.
Those are shots you get against the zone. Corner threes. I'd really like to see Clayton get a few more up, try and get into that rhythm. Aggies in like a 1-3-1 little trap right now. And Clayton looks like he's banged up. Looks like he just banged knees maybe.
Well, you hate to see this, and hopefully it's just banging knees. And that appears to be the case, but when you see Clayton Henry down, you immediately think foot. He's battling that foot injury, and he's able to walk off pretty much on his own power. Yeah, just banging knees right there. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a good sign. He seems to be walking all right. But yeah, like you said, everyone kind of holds their breath when you see Clayton go down like that. Knock on wood, do whatever superstition you have, because we need that guy.
Everyone is rooting for Clayton Henry to have a good finish to his career. He has battled injuries the last 2 years. He has gone through so much. He's been resilient through it all. Most guys would have moved on by now, but Henry still looking for that final opportunity. McKinney to Williams. Teddy Allen with it from the corner. Shoots a 3 over the defender. Avery taps it to himself. He has a career-high 12 today. Williams triggers. And M State now 6 for 27 on trays. And that one is thrown to nobody. Zambrano was cutting, and Howard thought he was still on the wing.
And we've seen this. Teams are going to come out in zones because of that 6 for 27. Because of that, teams are going to play zones, not just Northern. You're going to see some other teams in conference that might come out in the zone out of a timeout. The Aggies just have yet to prove that they can score.
And to that point, too, I think they still haven't had that game where they knock down a bunch of shots. And you feel like that game might be coming where Teddy Allen goes out there and is very successful from the arc, and a number of guys who are proven shooters in the past make a bunch of shots for you.
Or we were hoping it was this game. It could be next game, and you never know. It could be a big game on the road. You just don't know. Guys got to just stay in the gym and keep shooting the ball with confidence.
You can save it for Grand Canyon and Stephen F. Austin.
That'd be nice.
Those would be the good games to do it. Rebound number 7 for Teddy Allen. You can tell Mario McKinney's trying to make the right decisions right now. He's trying to be patient, play within the offense. He's been a scorer pretty much his entire life. It's the top of the backboard on his 3. On it slipped. Perez finds Damian Thomas, and he'll flush it. It took A.J. Harris some time to really feel out what Chris Giants wanted from him. And Mario McKinney's still in that learning stage right now. Allen finds Avery. 15 for Chichi. 8 helpers for Teddy.
Another good pass by Teddy. He's making the right decisions. Tonight, he's really making some good passes. Guys for open for 3. And Avery knocks that one down.
Teddy Allen just loves being out there. He just wants the ball. Thomas, a dump off. Rims off for Weaver. He'll shoot a pair. 3:02 left in half number 2. The Aggie lead is 30. Teddy Allen is flirting with a triple-double. 19 points, 8 helpers, 7 boards for the transfer from Nebraska. Aggies trying to move to 10-2, playing NAIA Northern New Mexico today. Northern New Mexico from Espanola, New Mexico. First matchup between these two programs since December 2019 when the Aggies won by 74. 104-30 was the final score in that one. This one has gone a little different. Northern New Mexico has shown some things here today. The Aggies have only outscored them by 12 in this half, 38-26. Aggies are without a number of players, though. They're going to rest Pryor, Rice, McCants for this one, and then Tillman still out with injury. And we'll see if Christians does the same on Monday against Division II UT Permian Basin, or if those guys are in uniform on Monday. 2 free throws for Tyreek Weaver. Senior out of Dallas, 6'7", 210. This game will now count for the Eagles. This is an exhibition game for them. They're 5-2 in games this year that have counted. Cameron Crawford is in. Freshman walk-on from Kirtland, New Mexico. He's in the left corner right now wearing jersey number 20. Joined to the floor by Avery, Cotton, Peak, and Henry. Henry for 3. It's an air ball. I think these are one of those games, Joe, in the final 5 minutes when the results like this, it's a little hard to play and stay within the offense and do those kind of things.
Yeah, guys get a little ahead of themselves and want to get some shots up. But we just want to get out of here safe and sound, both teams. We don't want injuries on either side.
Acrobatic finish for Perez, but it will not count. You're going to say the foul was before the shot. There's a look at Ryan Cordova, who's the head coach. He's also the athletics director at Northern New Mexico. They launched their athletics department in 2005, traveling violation on Perez. They only have 3 men's sports and 4 women's sports, so it's a very small athletics department at the NAIA level. Travel not easy. They played in Hobbs last night, came here today. Rashawn Cotton bounces off the defender and still finishes. He has 5 today, on 2 of 6 shooting. Here's Mohamed Jafari, transfer from New Mexico JUCO. He's from Iran. 6'5" junior guard. Feeds it to Thomas, down the lane. A little too strong off the backboard. Rebound for Henry. And a jump ball is forced. Possession will stay with Northern New Mexico, according to the arrow. The arrow points the way of the Eagles. They're about to get the ball to the Aggies now. Well, the arrow was pointed towards the Eagles. Aggie ball, though, here with 1:55 left. Keyshawn Keys just checked in for Northern. 3 Aggies in double figures today, led by Teddy Allen with 19. Cotton for 3. Good crash there. Chi Avery sticks it back in.
He's had a good game. He's going to be in a real good rhythm going into Monday.
Avery was scoreless in 3 of the previous 4 games. He has 17 points today, 8 rebounds as well. He's made 3 threes on his 6 tries. He's a guy who's still trying to crack this lineup consistently. Second made 3 for Keyshawn Keys, the son of Billy, former Aggie great. Side note with that too, Mary Henson is at the game today. Mary Henson, of course, the wife of the late, great Lou Henson. Mary is right behind the Northern New Mexico bench. I think this is a good game for her to come and see because she loves Billy Keys just like her husband Lou did. And she gets to see Billy today and also see her beloved Aggie. Rashawn Cotton now with 8 as he connects from 3. And it was really, really cool earlier in the first half. Jerry Kill was sitting in the stands watching the game with Mary Henson. I know Aggie fans will love to hear that. Nobody in front of Tyreek Weaver. Clear path to the rim. Cotton again. Why not? He's heating up with 11. He's looking for more playing time, Joe.
Yeah, he is. He's looking for it. He's getting them up, and he's hit, and he's hitting as this game winds down. But Aggies did some good things.
5 Aggies in double figures as Cotton reaches that milestone. Follow-away jumper wide left for Jafari. And Cotton will dribble it out. The Aggies will win their 5th in a row and improve to 10-2. Good to be back home. First home game in 17 days for the Aggies. Final score is 93-60. The Aggies have now won 7 of their previous 8. And they're also now 16-3 in their previous 19 games, dating back to last season. So quite the stretch for Chris Jantz's program. And we'll be joined by the Aggie head coach here momentarily. The Aggies outscored the Eagles 48-33 in half 2 after leading 45-27 at the halftime break. The Aggies jumped out to a 24-3 lead. The Eagles scored the first 3 of the game, and the Aggies went on a 24-0 run before Northern New Mexico finally broke an 11-minute scoreless drought. And the final score today is 93-60. Aggie head coach Chris Jantz is with us. And Coach, I know it's hard to evaluate games like this. How do you evaluate your team's performance here today?
I don't know. I mean, you expected some of that. You know, wasn't the level of competition that we've been playing, and certainly talked about it. But I didn't think they were too bad on first glance and live. Certainly the film will show up some other things, but I thought they handled it pretty well considering the circumstances.
The most important thing today was it to get some of these guys that haven't played much some minutes, including Clayton Henry, who probably needed those minutes more than anybody else. Yeah,
it was 2 things. One, to rest some guys. We got some guys that got some nagging injuries, and that was critical for us. And you always get a little bit nervous when you do that, but, you know, Jabari and Nate Pryor's under the weather, and Johnny, and all of them could have played if needed, but felt it was would behoove us to try to get them a little bit healthier. And then, like you said, you know, getting Mike Peake 10 straight minutes and trying to get him in more game shade. And same thing with you out of lock. And you mentioned Clayton, and, you know, we have a running argument that he thinks he's back to 100%. And I'm like, you're not even close, fortunately. But he wants to convince me that he is. And anyone that's watched him play over the years knows that he's not. It's going to take him some time. But that part was invaluable, just the rest. And then, like you said, the minutes for the guys that needed it.
Teddy Allen flirted with the triple-double today. What can you say about his ability to be a good teammate this year? He's been a willing passer. He's been a good rebounder. He's kind of doing it all right now for you.
You know, I'm proud of the fact that he's bought into the things we're trying to get him better at, which is what you mentioned, you know, creating for others, all the attention that he gets, and what a weapon that is. And then defensively, I mean, he's one of our better on-ball defenders. I told him the other day, I'm like, man, you're on the floor more because you're defending, you're rebounding defensively, and you've shown some toughness. I mean, offensively, you're not really helping us that much, and he certainly didn't like that, but I really felt that way. And it's almost like he's a gymnast, and it's about degree of difficulty at times with him. Like, you've got to shoot those open shots. And he's like, I don't have to tonight. I'm like, but I want you to, so get some confidence. He hadn't been shooting it very well, but he's in a good place.
Lastly, Coach, usually you tell us that you don't notice things around you. Did you notice that you had an extra assistant today? Jabari Rice never sat down during the game. He was vocal the entire game.
Yeah, he's good at that, you know. Unfortunately, he's been banged up a lot in his career. He's had to sit out of practices, et cetera, not many games, but he's really good when he's in that role of being encouraging and helping the guys get to the next play, and obviously he's been there, done that, and heck, maybe we got another ex-player that's a coach in the house with Sean Buchanan. It's great to see him, and maybe he'll follow suit someday. Who knows?
Coach, thanks for your time as always.
Ken, thanks.